Umune mundi Igbo, umune mundi Enuane, I want you to pay very close attention. Every day, a part of us is dying, quietly, silently, almost unnoticed. Not our food, not our fashion, not our festivals, but something far deeper. Our language, our identity, our soul. This is Enuane Cultural Forum, and today we are confronting a moment that may define the future of our children and the survival of our heritage. The federal government has cancelled the mother tongue teaching policy. Starting now, English and English alone will dominate Nigerian classrooms from nursery through the university. But wait and think. What happens to a people when their children can no longer speak the language of their ancestors? What happens to a culture when its next generation can no longer understand it? Look around your family and community. How many Igbo children today can hold a full conversation in Asusu Igbo? How many can understand the proverbs our elders lived by? How many can pray, joke, sing, or even dream in their own mother tongue? Ndị Igbo si na onye atụrụ inu kọwara ya na egwu eji nne ya na n'iyi. We are losing something precious, slowly, silently, and very dangerously. And today on Enuane Cultural Forum, we are telling the story, exposing the danger, and learning from countries that protect their languages fiercely. Because if we don't act now, we may become the generation that watched Igbo and her army of many dialects and other Nigerian languages fade into a whisper. Let's begin. Here is the full story. Simply and clearly, the federal government has removed the 2022 mother tongue education policy. Back then, the plan was simple. Teach children in their mother tongue up to primary 6. Use English as a subject until later classes. Strengthen cultural identity. Improve early communication in the indigenous language. But now, all of this is gone with one government policy. At the 69th National Council on Education meeting in Akure, and later at the 2025 Language in Education Conference in Abuja, the Minister of Education announced English is now the only language of instruction at every level of schooling. The reason, according to the minister, poor performance in WAEC, NECO, and JAMB, weak English proficiency, evidence that some regions using mother tongue instructions performed worse. Whether you agree or disagree, this decision marks a turning point. The school, the most influential environment for child learning, has officially withdrawn from supporting indigenous language literacy. That, unfortunately, is where the danger lies. But let us be honest. Long before this policy reversal, Igbo was already in trouble. The Igbo language was already in deep trouble. Ask any Igbo parent today, can your child speak Igbo fluently? You will hear them making all sorts of excuses. More often than not, the answer is no, no, or yes. They understand everything you are saying. If you can understand a language and you can't speak, what then is communication? Communication is a two-way thing. I give you information, you give me feedback. How do you receive information? And to give the feedback, you speak another language. That is not communication. So some can understand, but cannot speak. Some can speak, but cannot read or write. Many can neither speak nor understand. I remember my time as a student at the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. I chose Igbo. I even had A in my first semester, A in my second semester as well, at the 100 level. Why is there this deficiency in the learning and understanding and use of Igbo language? Simple, because for over 2 decades, yes, you heard me, over 2 decades, parents prioritized the use of English language at home, even making those who could not speak English to feel ashamed of themselves. Urban families replaced Igbo with English for class or exposure. Elders stopped insisting on cultural transmission. Storytelling was no longer there. Content children consume on TV, cartoons, YouTube are mostly created in English. All this has led to the decline of the learning of Igbo language. A language cannot survive through cultural festivals and proverbs alone. It must be spoken daily, taught, read, written, and most importantly, lived. The Igbo language is not dead yet, but it is bleeding profusely to an unfortunate death. And this policy reversal pours salt on the wound. Before anyone says mother tongue doesn't work, English is the only way, or, as they usually say, native languages hold children back. Let's look around the world. Let's begin with Japan. Japanese is the language of teaching from nursery to university in Japan. English is taught as a subject. Japan remains a global powerhouse in science, mathematics, engineering, and technology. What about South Korea? Korean is the primary language of instruction. Students learn English later. Their global academic ranking remains among the highest in the world. Then what about China? Mandarin is dominant in the classroom. English is secondary. Still, China leads globally in STEM performances. What about Ethiopia, here in Africa with us? In Ethiopia, early grade learners are taught in their community's native language. English is added gradually. This strengthens understanding and cultural identity. And what about Tanzania? In Tanzania, Swahili is mandatory in primary education. This policy helped make Swahili one of Africa's strongest languages today. These countries prove something simple. Mother tongue instruction does not in any way stop global competitiveness. Poor implementation of policies do. Language does not fail. Systems fail. Planning fails. Teaching methods fail. Materials also fail. Nigeria did not fail because of Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Tip, Nupe, or Isoko. It failed because the system never fully supported the policy it created. In case you don't know, this is way deeper and more serious than speaking or not speaking a language. When a language fades, proverbs disappear, ancient philosophies vanish, idioms lose context, names lose meaning, humor loses flavor, oral stories die, community structures weaken. Igbo is not just grammar or vocabulary. It is worldview. It is identity. It is memory. It is spirituality. It is a family system. Every Igbo child who cannot speak Igbo represents a thread cut from a much larger fabric. And when enough threads are cut, the cloth tears. The failure of mother tongue education did not come from the language. Let's be sincere about this. Were teachers properly trained to teach in indigenous languages? Were learning materials provided in all Nigerian languages? Did every state implement the policy properly? Were schools monitored to ensure that they actually implemented these policies? Was there funding? Was there gradual transitioning? The answer is no. As usual, the Nigerian way, we introduced a policy without structure, without support, without a roadmap, then blame the language for failing. No nation treats its culture that way and survives intact. So what do we do now? We cannot rely on government alone. the school has stepped back and taken a step backwards. That means the home must step forward. The community must step forward. Content creators must step forward. Cultural groups must step forward. We must step forward together. Anyone in the cultural forum has to step forward. Practical steps will include speak Igbo language at home. Teach your children 2 Igbo words daily. Ensure that they are following anyone in the cultural forum as well. Maka anyị ga na-asụkwa asụsụ Igbo na this page. Use your Igbo names proudly. Create Igbo content for young people. Support Igbo books, cartoons, songs, and media like this platform where Igbo cultural heritage is promoted. Support it. Start Igbo clubs in your community. Support church and institutions that preach the continuity and use of Igbo language. If we don't take action, English will dominate our classrooms and silence our languages. As you have just found out, languages don't die when the last elder dies. They die when the next generation never learns anything from them. English may rule the classrooms, but Igbo must rule the home, the heart, and the heritage. Let us not be the generation that watched our mother tongue fade. Let us be the generation that fought for it. This is Enwane Cultural Forum, and you have been listening to our cultural preservation episode. If this message touched you, please share it. Teach someone the Igbo language today. Speak your mother tongue proudly. Until next time, Kobe, Komesiane, Dalone.
Elwa.